from one man's mistake. And I believe that. Everybody needs to get the book, Day of the Lord is at Hand. That's all I got to say. Everybody needs to have that book, along with the Bible. First of all, the King James Version of the Bible. And they need to get a hold on Benjamin's site and get the Day of the Lord is at Hand. Because if that doesn't bring it to light for you, and you can't understand that, then you've probably got a reprobate mind.
And would you say if someone has a reprobate mind, might they also be turned over to the reptilian race?
Yes, they very well could be. But we got to know this, that not everybody's reptilian. Everybody thinks, well, he's in an evil position, he's got to be reptilian. Reptilians are your Bilderberg group and your Illuminati groups and this and that. And there's a lot of emphasis put on who's a reptilian, and a lot of us know, and I know, and I could name some of them, but I can't because of fear of my life. And there will come a time when I will. I believe that I'm going to end up getting killed. Yesterday, my neighbor's boys, I have a welding shop, and I've been really torn down to the max these last couple of months. This was all coming up. And all of a sudden I got this big lull in my life where there's nothing better to do, and all of a sudden these radio stations wanting to call me and, talk. And it started with you when Barbara came on. I was perplexed by what she was saying, and nothing to down anybody's guess, but I believe Barbara's phone card ran out because it ran out.
All right, everybody, we're listening to Lieutenant Colonel S.C., and we just leave it at that as far as his official name goes. Lieutenant Colonel, is there the different strains or species of aliens? Are there insectoids and reptoids and greys, or are there just one breed?
No, they're just one breed. They're reptilians. They're shapeshifters. They're true nature like us. We're true nature. We're human. Okay, a Christian. But if we can put a costume on and be anybody. But the difference is these shapeshifters can actually shape-shift just that. They can shape-shift, and that's just what they do. Their true nature is reptilian, but they wear different costumes. The devil comes as an angel of light, and he comes in many forms. And I'm here to tell you, don't get deceived by one race or another, because they're not. I do know this, that the Illuminati is having a struggle within, a power struggle within. I've gotten that from reliable sources, and I believe that's the reptilian race. I believe all of them are in there, the 13 families. I believe every one of them are genetically engineered, and they actually believe that they engineered from the blood of John the Baptist. They said that when John the Baptist's head was whacked off, that his blood was saved in jars. And I believe that. And they've been using that blood to genetically engineer because they think there's purity in it.
Yeah. We have a question from the live chat, Lieutenant Colonel. Who do you think is in charge of the reptilians?
Satan.
Okay. And we have this question from the Fast Blast. When do you think the next so-called terrorist attack will come that will throw us into martial law, and where would the alien agenda go from there? Well,
as a rule of thumb, what I told you earlier is 90 days. When you see something like you've seen in the news, usually 90 days when they let Canada back. So I believe about 90 days prior to the election, we'll have a terrorist attack. And I believe this one will be nuclear in nature. And I was told by reliable sources and the CIA. And before I go any further, do you know who CIFA is now? CIFA. I'll forward you some information on them. They were created by the Department of Defense because FBI, NSA, all those people are in power struggles, of who gets to fame. And so what they did was they created CIFA because the CIA cannot operate in the United States. They were created strictly to do spying and to monitor other countries in the world. So CIFA stands for Central Intelligence Field Activity, created by the Department of Defense to operate within the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have a United States CIA now.
Right. And I see that they're part of the U.S. counterintelligence and effectiveness for the 21st century, according to a document I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, and I've got some documents where I had where they protected me in an incident just a year ago.
Okay.
Where I had to do, and I will let you have those, but anybody that emails me, don't ask for it because you'll never get it. But
okay.
Daniel, I will oblige you with a copy.
I appreciate that so much. We have this question here. This writer from the Fast Blast says, this is very important. Lieutenant Colonel, do you know if Mike Johans, the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, is a reptilian?
No, I don't know that.
Okay. So you're not saying that everyone is, but there are a vast majority are.
Well, the vast majority are, but it's the people who have control of them. Let me tell you the reason that we came up with the number of 2,000 of them. Because when Jesus casted out the demons in that man that lived in the tombs, he casted them out into swine, and they called themselves Legion, and Legion, I believe, is 2,000 in the Hebrew, or is it 20,000?
I believe it's 2,000.
2,000. And we believe that that's where them demons, that's where this is coming from. That there was originally 2,000 of them cast down there, and when they didn't want to go into the abyss. Now, whether they were trying to deceive Jesus, who can't be deceived into saying that because they really wanted to, because that's where their headquarters was, I have no idea for that.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like if I was a demon, I'd be wanting to be in the abyss as much as I could before I went to hell.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay.
That's where we came up with that number, and I believe that's a very logical, and I just believe it. I mean, what else makes sense?
All right.
Why they would come from water?
Okay.
They don't. I can tell you this: they don't come from outer space.
Well, speaking of outer space, we have this question from the Fast Blast. Lieutenant Colonel S.C., is there an astral portal to the dark side of the moon that goes back and forth from Australia?
I was heard there was. As a matter of fact, those two points of light that come through the wormholes that you've got on there, I've seen that. I've seen them do that, and that's exactly what those are, and that's demonic.
Have you been in the room with reptilians?
Yes, once.
Did they speak?
Yes.
What did they say?
They speak. Their voice is a little rougher, and what's funny about it is that when they do this, I can't tell who's male and female. They sound all male to me.
Mm-hmm.
But the one I had, I was brought to this meeting at AES for where there was one in the room. I was the lowest ranking officer in that room. Everybody was a brigadier general on up, and I was so perplexed with the demon itself, and I couldn't help it. I was trying to see his feet, and I was just trying so hard, and I don't know why I was brought in there, because I don't know a darn thing they were talking about. But whenever they'd say, "What do you think, Major?" I was a major at the time, and I would just agree, yeah, okay. And I knew that they caught me up, and that I believe I was brought in there so that I could expose this very day, and I believe that I'm probably part of their part of their deal too, of letting the cat out of the